first place.
Let's get to the Hooter, because the FRC, one of the last things that you lads did was change it back to the way it was originally. Did you cave into outside noise?
We didn't. Look, there was a lot of kind of points for both sides of that argument, Joanne. The main ones for the reason it has finished up the way it has is that, number one, the time played is the exact time for the game. Number two, it's in the ladies' game. Number three, it's been in New York, in Gaelic Park for years, and that it's worked there. So that there was a body of evidence there that it worked. We saw it today. We saw in the game last year between Westmeath and Meath.
What's the story, everyone? Welcome back to Gaelic Games Fan TV. How are we? We're watching a clip of Eamon Fitzmaurice and Lee Keegan on Allianz League Sunday last night, discussing the games and everything else, and of course discussing the Kerry Roscommon game and the controversy that went with the Hooter and everything else. I wanted to make a video on it to discuss it a little bit more, get some of your opinions, comments, and everything else on it. Apologies about the slight delay at the start there, but yeah, let's hear. This was when he was asked yesterday in regards to it. Now, bear in mind, Eamon Fitzmaurice was part of the FRC, part of the rule change, bringing the Hooter in and all the great rules that we see. So, as much as they may have gotten this one wrong, I do think, to be fair, they do deserve a lot of credit for bringing them in the first place. But anyway, let's shut up for a minute.
When it can come down to those fine margins right at the end, that it is tight.
You said you had to go back and look at it several times in slow motion. We also have the issue with the clock on the stadium versus the clock on TV, because they're not synced up together. We're relying on, if the ref is mic'd up, being able to hear them over all the noise, or a floor manager looking for signals. And so you have that as well. What are your thoughts?
It's messy. And
people didn't like the possession football that led to the likes of the brilliant point from David Clifford at the end of the All-Ireland final first half.
This is week one league game, when our first weekend, and we have a messy situation, and Roscommon will feel completely, aggrieved, because they put in such a brilliant performance to lose out on that. Now, I do agree with him, it was the correct call, but if this is the case, we're going to have this week in, week out, it's going to lead to more controversy, more problems, and more mess. So I don't like to be aiming at the moment.
There's an even bigger reason for that, but
yeah, but I am curious to know your opinions, your thoughts in regards to this topic and everything else. Look, in terms of my opinion, first of all, I mentioned a little bit on Cooley Media yesterday, but I don't know why they made the change, to be honest with you. Like, as you'll see on the screen there, the screenshot, obviously I can't show the clip for copyright reasons, but yeah, we can see the kind of screenshot on the screen there, in terms of the incident happened with the Kerry Roscommon game. So to paint the picture a little bit for people, Tomas Kennedy scored a point on the buzzer beater, really, as the buzzer sounded. The rule is that if the ball is in the air at the time that the Hooter goes off, so if the ball has left the player's foot or the player's hand, then the point should be awarded. Now, looking at the replay and everything else, it's very, very hard to determine whether it is a point or whether it isn't a point. And to be honest with you, I think that's beside the argument a little bit. Like, I just think it's a very harsh way to end the game of football. Do you know what I mean? Where you're looking at the finest of margins. It's all down to interpretation in terms of the referee. Do you know what I mean? Like, did the ball leave his foot? Did the ball leave his hands? And if we're, especially with how tight games can be around the All-Ireland series when it gets to semi-finals and finals, if we're making these calls in those games, then I think it's worrying. It's definitely worrying, because there could be so much that could go wrong. There's so many big decisions that can go wrong in regards to it. And I think it's absolutely something that they need to fix. I don't know why, in the first place, with the Hooter, that they changed it back. Like, this time last year, they introduced the Hooter and everything else, and I was still a little bit unsure about it, to be honest. I wasn't against it, really. Like, I like the idea, the fact that you're cutting out time wasting and everything else, and the Hooter sounds, and obviously they were trialing it in the league. But when they did bring in, going into the championship, I think it was the latter part of the league and the end of the championship, where they brought the system in where the ball would have to go dead, a bit like in rugby, like where a player would have to kick the ball dead, or it'd be one last attack or one last chance. I thought the drama it brought to the game was absolutely enthralling. Do you know what I mean? I remember it in the Loud Mead game being there, seeing it in Donegal Armagh in the Ulster final and other games as well. I didn't have an issue with it. I thought it worked. I thought it was a system that worked really, really well. It created a lot of hype. It meant, as a team, if you're losing a game, you've got that one chance. If you can get possession, you've got that opportunity. You've got a chance to work it. look, was it perfect? I know maybe there's an argument, for the people who are probably in favour of the way that the Hooter is now, having switched it back. Maybe your argument might be it's too much like rugby or something, or maybe your argument might be, teams keeping possession for too long and the game going on for a lot longer than it should be. I did also hear another argument maybe that, it kind of favours the team who's chasing the game a little bit because they essentially get more time to have another attack when the previous team wouldn't have had that. Do you know what I mean? I do get it, but I think it's a system that works really well. And I definitely think it's a lot better than this. There is a lot of comments coming in here, so fair play to you lads. Aiden says here, I know a lot of people agree, and it's the easiest solution. The game is over when the ball goes dead. Same as rugby. Dublin is great. Do not get why they have to change something everybody likes. What do you think about adding the Hooter to hurling? Just think of the mad finishes we would get. Also, it would make the time for all GA games the same. Yeah, I wouldn't be against it really for the Hooter. The only thing is, it is a much faster game. It is a much quicker game. So, they definitely have to. You definitely couldn't end it where the ball's in the air. Something like that would be very, very hard to interpret it. Gavin says plenty of entertainment. With the club championship, Fallon's equaliser, elephant in the room, why we don't need a Hooter, novel idea, but we can't get it right consistently. That's the thing, isn't it? You saw in the club championships as well, the late drama and everything else that goes with it. I don't know, maybe if it's because of late frees as well that can be awarded when with the Hooter, and are they worried about those decisions? Like, are they trying to protect themselves a little bit? I'm not entirely sure, but Gavin says in this circumstance, in fairness, as part of the problem was why was it a Kerry free in the first place? But you could make the counter argument anyway of Meath, Westmeath, and this happened anyway. Yeah, like I think it's like this is one case in a few other cases that happened last year, and obviously there was a build up. I seen a square ball decision that went against Roscommon as well. Like that was nearly worse than this, to be honest with you. So I think this is probably a culmination of things. Limerick Wexford in the Division 4 final went on for 10 minutes. I get where they're coming from, but this were at circumstances like this. Yeah, like it's I do get that, but like I don't know. Like, do fans have an issue with that? Do players have an issue like that? Like, have the players been consulted in regards to this? That's what I want to know. Dublin is great, says Gavin. Holding the ball for 5 minutes and working the score is a skill. I thought it was fine last year, says Sean. To be honest, I do see the exciting part of it. It did become somewhat jarring, teams holding on possession until they work a score, but I still weren't asking for a change. Yeah, like I get it. Yeah, yeah. Like, and look, there is the argument that do we need to completely just get rid of it? Do you know what I mean? Like, there is that argument, and I want to throw a tweet up on the screen here from Shane Rice, who put this up yesterday. The Hooter is going to cause serious issues, in my opinion. There isn't a Hooter needed, but last year's system was the next best thing. But to blow up a game based off of a Hooter when a man is going through on goal, point to win, for example, there will be mayhem. Is the clock even accurately stopped every single time the ball leaves the play? Do you know, that's a great point. Every second matters, just get rid of it. That's something I wanted to highlight as well, because a lot of times this weekend, the time just didn't seem to be on cue at all. Like, even at the Dublin Donegal game, it seemed like the time seemed to be skipping or something. I thought I was going mad looking at the clock. It was very, very. Look, and I know you can't get these things right. Like, it is tricky. There's a lot of people involved. It's hard for the referees and everything else. But if it is very difficult, then just get rid of it, to be honest with you. Maybe introduce harder sanctions for time wasting, and maybe that will get rid of time wasting if that's what we're worried about. You know, like maybe that's something they need to look at. But I think leaving the Hooter, I think either bring it back to its system that it was last year, or get rid of it entirely, in my opinion. That's what I think personally. But Adam says here, I'd be slow to criticize the FRC because they've made the game so much better, but they shouldn't have changed the Hooter rule. And that is a fair point. Like, I've seen a lot of people criticizing and everything else, and it is worth mentioning. The whole reason why we're having this conversation is because of what got introduced in the first place. So I think that's important to say. Kennedy got his match-winning effort away after the stadium clock hit 70, but before the Hooter sounded, that's messy. All the way was cleaner. I just think as well, and especially for the league as well, like in Crow Park, look, you're probably going to get it spot on most of the time. But I think in these provincial grounds and everything else, it is harder to manage, I think. And yeah, I think they 100% need to look at it. Sean also says, I don't want the Hooter to go. I thought overall it was a good addition to the game. Just put it back to last year. That's what I think. Put it back to the way it was last year, or get rid of it entirely. Get rid of it entirely, because it is going to be too messy. And even as Shane was saying in that tweet that I put up, like, imagine a player running through on goal and then they blow it up. Look, I know rules are rules, and ultimately, look, maybe it's the same as the referee blowing his whistle when it reaches the final, the final couple of seconds. But the thing is, the only difference there is it's the referee's whistle. The referee can let it go. There is that discretion of the referee where you could let an attack play out. So yeah, it is absolutely something they need to look at. But look, I just wanted to put a quick video out there. I am curious to know your thoughts, your opinions on it. It definitely is something that they need to address. There is also a part of me that thinks if we do change it back, can we just keep it that way? Because all this chopping and changing and going back, introducing this rule, let's change this, let's bring this back. They definitely need to look at the 50-meter descent rule. We won't go into that in this video, but that absolutely is something they need to look at. But yeah, do let me know your thoughts, your opinions on it in the comments below. We'll be back on Wednesday for a preview of the Matchday 2 games. And hit the like button, subscribe. Getting close to 6,000 subscribers. So if we could get there soon, that'd be pretty cool, I think. So yeah, cheers anyone who tuned in. We'll speak to you all later.